Speaker's Corner aboard the Villa Vie Odyssey, hosted by Kit Cassingham.
Good evening.
Hello.
Welcome to Speaker's Corner.
Good evening, Mrs. Cassingham.
This is our first Speaker's Corner for 2026. Pretty cool. And we have our Lauren Meyer talking
Meyer.
to us. Huh?
Meyer.
Ah,
Meyer. It's
Meyer.
Dutch. It's okay. Meyer.
As you know, she's our entertainment director. She's going to do a lot of entertaining tonight. She knows a little bit about South Africa, and she's planning on sharing some of what she knows. I'm going to let her take over from here, and we're going to be there in 2027, so we have time to think about it. So go for it, Lauren.
Hi, everybody. Hello. Thank you so much for having me. As Kit said, my name is Lauren. My surname is Afrikaans. I'll get into that later, which is why no one can pronounce it. And yes, I do have a little bit of experience in South Africa, having been born and raised there. Last time I was there was November last year. So let's have a quick chat about South Africa and what the plan for tonight is. I'm aware that hopefully in the future we'll be making our way to South Africa. So I am looking at what the itinerary could be, potentially, possibly, I don't know. And then also what you could be doing if something doesn't happen and you just want to go anyway. So it's a nice little 50-50. So let's just figure out where it is, because a lot of people get confused. So I've got Africa over here, and it is South Africa. In other words, it's in the south. I've been working at sea for a really long time, and a lot of people have asked me, where in South Africa are you from? I say Cape Town. They say, no, which country? And I say, it is a country. All right, so it's where, there it is, the orange thing. That is South Africa. Now, one of the things that I'd like to talk about first off is our currency. Like as we're traveling all over the world, our currency is called the South African Rand. So I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about economics as well tonight. So the South African Rand, it's called a Rand because in Afrikaans the Rand is a field, which is where when they discovered gold, etc. in South Africa, it was on the Rand, or on the Rand. So they called the currency the Rand. It's nice and colorful, as you can see. It comes in all different shades, unlike the US dollar that you can't find and you end up tipping the waitress $100. Not at all bitter about that, thanks guys. However, we do have South African Rand. The currency, it's approximately 20 Rand to $1, which is, well, it depends once you finish your conversion-ish. So I'm going with around 20. By the time we get there, it'll be 20 because our economy sucks. So go with the 20-ishness. All right, so 20 Rand to the dollar, which is fantastic for you and also for me because I work here. So that's great, and I get paid in US dollars. So let's first talk about money in South Africa. We only accept rands. We do not accept US dollars. The reason for that is because we don't want to pay the conversion rate to get that sorted out. Minimum wage in the US is around $7.25 per hour-ish, I believe. I've Googled. According to Live Google, they're telling me it's there, maybe a little bit more, but around about that. $7.25 will get you about 120 Rand 85 in South African rands. Minimum wage in South Africa is between 15 and 28 Rand an hour. So that gives you a nice comparison on pricing. All right, so it's basically like pesos is the closest equivalent to you. That is our converted rate. And that means our minimum wage, of which most of the country is on in US cents, is about 75 cents to $1.25 per hour that you're working. Make sense? Cool. Next slide. So, in the world of economics, in the USA, apparently a loaf of bread is about $1.50-ish. All right? A loaf of bread in South Africa is 26 Rand on average for a loaf of bread. So in South Africa, you work more than an hour and a half for a loaf of bread, and in the US, you can buy 4 loaves of bread for every hour that you're working. Does that make sense? There's also the McDonald's index, which they call it. A Big Mac meal in the US is $9.12. Big Mac in South Africa, you're looking at about 120. And in the US, you work an hour and a half for your Big Mac meal. In South Africa, you work 10 hours for your Big Mac meal if you're on minimum wage, which really depends on your background, your culture, that kind of thing. And we're going to talk about that just a little bit, but I just want to get all the weird things about South Africa out of the way, because when you talk about South Africa, everybody goes crime and apartheid, right? That's what we're known for. Two horrible things. It's sad, but it's true. And I just want to get these things out of the way. And this will explain the reason behind the crime if you have a look at how different people are living. And please remember, we are 30 years of being a free and independent South Africa. So our country has had some time to figure it out. We still have people living in very poor houses, which you will see if you do coming to South Africa. You have your pretty average house at the bottom corner there, and then you can also have your mega wealthy people. A lot of them are tourists with foreign investments, but we do have a lot of super rich people in South Africa, where we're talking like the gold taps and the Lamborghinis and the Ferraris. And funnily enough, they will literally be about that distance away from each other. So you'll have a super wealthy neighborhood next to a very poor neighborhood and a very middle class neighborhood somewhere else. So it is a nation of differences and changes, and you will see that it is abundantly clear when you get to South Africa. Okie dokie, does that make sense? Cool. So that's economics. I just wanted to give you the little heads up on that. But I am here to talk a little bit more about South Africans, and a section I'd like to talk to you about today as well is our ethnicity in South Africa. South Africa is known as a rainbow nation, and for the reason for that is because we have everybody in the country. We're not particular about anybody who comes in. We literally have every nationality is represented in the country, every race, every gender, every religion, the whole shebang. We have one of the most liberal constitutions in the world, and it's kind of fun living in South Africa because that makes us unique by being so much the same, as having so many weird little things coming in from different cultures, that we've got our own little South African thing happening. So we're a nice intersection of race, language, and history. Now, something that's really important to understand is that understanding these differences and realizing our differences is it helps explain our daily life, our identity, our social dynamic, and the country that it is today. In South Africa, race still matters because it is part of our history. And Trevor Noah is one of my favorite comedians. He likes to put it out there, and he says, in South Africa, we actually talk about it, when in other countries people will say, don't talk about it, it's a contentious subject. South Africa, we went through a whole series many years ago doing the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, where we literally aired all our dirty laundry for everybody to see, and so that we could look at it and go, this is what we were doing wrong, this is what we shouldn't have done, amending for the past, and let's move on collectively as a country together. So that is where South Africa is right now, which is kind of cool. Right, so South Africa, we do, and again, I don't mean for any of this to sound weird and racist, guys, but in South Africa, like I said, we do call a spade a spade. So I am a white South African, but I'm also an English South African, but I have an Afrikaans surname, so it confuses the crap out of people, right? Quite fairly, because when I used to speak Afrikaans as a kid, people would ask me, are you English or Afrikaans? And I would say I'm English because I'm English speaking at home. I'm English, but I'm still very much South African. If you are dark skinned, if you're a black South African, you could belong to any one of the cultural tribes that we have, including people like Zulu, Xhosa, Sotho, Tswana, all these places. They're all different cultures, different tribes. So they will strongly identify as, for example, a Zulu male. If you are of what we like to call, and it sounds really bad, and I hate saying this, but this is South Africa. If you are of a mixed race, but there is it's a history of a mixed race, which was a lot of Balinese, Indian, that kind of thing coming through from the old days, because South Africa we were founded by the Dutch East India Company, doing the slave trades around Africa, bringing the spice routes up and down, which is why we were British, we were French, we were something else. There is now a race of people in South Africa who very proudly call themselves coloured, which I know in the rest of the world probably sounds weird, but it is a very strong and a very proud culture of being colored. So in South Africa, if you are black and white, you are mixed, but then you could also be a completely different race, is colored. And it's a very proud, especially in the Western Cape, in the Cape area, they have a very strong colored, and don't call them anything else, but they'd be really offended if you call them colored, just like I'm offended if you call me Australian, because they keep beating us at rugby. A lot of Americans think I'm Australian and really, I'm lovely with British, please, that's fine, it's a great passport, I'll take it. But, you know, because they beat us in rugby, same thing. So that's just a little something for you to bear it in mind. And yeah, like I said, within your black, you get your different cultures there. You get your white people who are normally of Dutch or English descent, as well as anything else that's European. You'll get Indian, a big Indian culture, and a lot of Asian culture in South Africa. And then also your colored people, mostly predominantly in the Western Cape area. Oh, we're getting feedback today. All right, in South Africa, the other thing that's really important to remember, like I said, is that race is spoken about openly and unashamedly. Everybody talks about it, and it's not a big deal anymore. Like I said, we have one of the most liberal constitutions in the world. You are literally welcome to do basically anything you like in South Africa. We were one of the first countries in the world to openly allow interracial, well, not interracial marriage, I'll tell you that, we weren't there, but same-sex marriages came through very early for us. Open on religion, all these kind of things, it all happened very early in South Africa. Certainly as we rolled into the new South Africa in 1990 into 1994, that constitution that was written then is still touted today as being one of the most liberal in the world. So we're pretty cool on that. All right, moving on from there, I want to show you a little something from my friend Trevor Noah.
In my family, my two younger brothers are so from my mother's second marriage, and so I'm still the only person in my family who looks like this. So my mom is African woman, black Xhosa woman. My father is Swiss from Switzerland, so he was a white man, and so I look like this. And then my mom remarried a black man, so my brothers don't look like me either, right? And I remember what was really beautiful was my brothers. We always spoke about this stuff. So my parents, they were like, "Yeah, different dads. We get how this works." So my brother one day, I pick him up from school, right? He's really young at the time. It was what, maybe like, I think it was 19, maybe 10 years old. And he gets in the car, and he's just deflated. He gets in the passenger seat, and he fastens his seatbelt. And I'm like, "What's going on, Isaac?" And he's like, "Hey, Trevor." He's like, "Oh, kids, man. I can't do this. Kids." So I go, "Kids? Tell me more." And then he's like, I just don't know what to do with kids, Trevor. You know, like today, one of my friends said, "Ooh, are we walking home?" Then I said, "No, my brother's picking me up." Then he said, "Who's your brother?" Then I said, "Trevor." Then now when we're walking, he sees you in the car. Then he says, "Who's that?" Then I said, "It's my brother." Then he says, "But how can your brother be white?" Then I said, "He's not white. He's not white, he's mixed." Then he said, "But you're not mixed, you don't look the same. How can your brother not look the same?" Then, so now I'm like, "Oh man, I'm gonna have to go through this." So then I'm like, so what did you say to him? And he's like, "Trevor, I'd have to explain it the way kids understand." He said, I just said to him, I said, "Zweli, you've got to understand, people are like chocolates, okay? Like you can have a white chocolate, and you can have a dark chocolate, and you can have a milk chocolate, but it's all Nestle, okay?"
That's the one that I wanted to show you, because that just absolutely sums up how South Africans see things, right? And yeah, and he's one of my favorite comedians. If you ever really want a true indication of what South Africa is like, and you want to have somebody who does accents really well, do yourself a favor, watch Trevor Noah. When you get to South Africa, every single person that he does as an accent, you will find them. All right, they're all over the place. So the next thing that I wanted to play for you, because I know a lot of people ask me about the click language, and you want to hear some of it, it's Xhosa. Xhosa has 5 clicks in it. And they all mean different things. I don't speak Xhosa myself, but I'd like to play you just a little snippet of this fantastic woman. Her name is Miriam Makeba, and she was very popular in the 60s and the 70s. She was one of the resistance fighters. Earlier I played Johnny Clegg for you. He was known as the White Zulu because he was brought up on a farm in Durban, and all his friends were the Zulu kids, so he went through the whole initiation rites and the changing into manhood and everything, and his songs, unfortunately he's passed away now, but his songs were African songs, and this Mary Makeba is one of the icons of South Africa, and it just gives you a little bit. I'm only going to play you a snippet of it, but it is the Click song. So here we go. Let's see. Fabulous piece of music. All right, so let's go back to what we were looking at as an itinerary. Again, I've seen the new one, and everything's just disappeared after a certain point in time. So I don't know any dates here, but this is what was planned for South Africa, and I'm going to give you my recommendations. So just to let you know, I'm just going to hop up here quickly. So this would be Richards Bay. This would be our first call. So out of interest, you've got Swaziland is this little white block here. You've got Mozambique over there. That's Zimbabwe, Botswana, Namibia, and Lesotho, which is completely surrounded by South Africa, which is always fun for them. So our first little stop here is Richards Bay, then Durban, then East London, and then Port Elizabeth, which is now being renamed Quebec, which nobody can pronounce, and then Cape Town. So that is where the itinerary had us going, and who knows if it is or if it isn't, we will wait and see. However, I know that when you think of Africa, this is what you want to see, right? The African landscape, the beautiful things, and my recommendation to you is to go to the Kruger National Park. And I'm going to harp on about Kruger Park because I think it is phenomenal. And we know what's happening. I'm going to say, do yourselves a favor and please book as soon as you can to get to Kruger. And I'm going to tell you how to get there too, but I first just want to wet your taste buds a little bit for Kruger. Okay, so this is where Kruger Park is. It's located right up here. As you can see, it's quite a large game reserve. It's like our Yosemite or whatever you want to call it. It's our big one. There's no animals in fences. They are roaming wild, so it is the wild Africa. Don't get me wrong, there's other places in Africa to do the big Serengeti and things like that, but Kruger Park is very comfortable. And the nice thing about South Africa is that everybody does speak English, heavily accented, but everybody can speak English. We do drive on the correct side of the road in case you're planning on doing anything like that. However, you can get around in South Africa and you'll be just fine speaking English anyway, because everybody does. You have to have English and another African language, and you take that from the day you start school to the day that you finish. So everybody's completely fluent. Now, Kruger Park was named after a president of the Transvaal Republic way back when we still had the Transvaal and all that kind of stuff. His name was Paul Kruger, and he started in 1898 to establish a game reserve to protect the low-veld animals. So that started a long time ago, and it's just built up over time, and it's developed, and it's become this beautiful big park, and became part of Shingwendezi Reserve back in 1927. So they kind of started amalgamating areas to enable to allow elephants their natural roaming territories. So they kind of covered it through. They did want to do a massive game park and have the Kruger Park extend here into Zimbabwe so that the migratory trail could continue. But then unfortunately poaching is prevalent in a lot of the countries, and they decided to not go further and just kind of maintain the animals where they could look after them. There are daily flights to Kruger no matter where you are in South Africa. You can get a flight. It may end up going via Johannesburg or something like that, but Kruger National Park does have its own international airport, and by international I mean Lesotho. You know what I'm saying? little airport. But it does have its own little airports, and there's a few airports in the area too that you can fly to, which will allow you access into the park. To give you an idea of the accommodations, you can either go glamorous and look at a lot of money, which quite honestly with the US dollar is not too bad at all, or you can do what we did. We stayed in something, this is like what we would stay in, and then potentially something a little bit more exotic for you guys. But Kruger is a place where you can still lie in bed at night and listen to the animals, like the lions roaring, and get a lot of spiders in your shoes. That doesn't matter. The ants, by the way, just whatever you do me a favor. Top tip, don't leave your car doors open, all right? Because they are monkeys, and they are bastards. Little vervet monkeys, they're like little white monkey things. especially if you have kept a bag of peaches in your car. They will climb into said car, and then as you try to chase them away, they will throw the peach pips back at you quite violently and then rip the windshield wipers off the car. Don't ask me how I know that. All right, so just be careful there. Now, my recommendation is to spend time in the Kruger Park. Price-wise, you're looking at, for premium private concession lodges, you're looking at 15 to 30,000 Rand per person per night for the fancy ones. And then it comes down to something a little bit more realistic, which is about 5,000 Rand per person per night in Kruger, depending. Now, I have done, because I'm feeling a little bit extra, I've done a little book for you guys, you know, like we do at Shore Excursions. And it's got information. Now, I'm not going to stand here and tell you that you got to book through this guy and this guy. But on the book, it does have, if you're into culture, try, there's this to do. You want to do game drives, there's some companies that you can have a look at. And here's some places that you can go and Google further and find out your thing. But Kruger Park, please, whatever you do, make that a stop point for you when you get to South Africa. All right, the next place that I want to talk to you about is our first port of call, which is Richards Bay, and you see I put there, leave the ship. I'm not even going to lie to you. Richards Bay, it's a cargo terminal. It's a great place to fly from, to leave the ship and go to Kruger Park, because it's also the closest. You're going to get in a little plane with little little propellers. It's going to be about a 90-minute flight. A lot of places will do something for you where they will organize the entire trip for you from Richards Bay, where they will book you on airlines. There's an airline called Airlink. They will get you to Hoedspruit or to Skukuza or to Kruger International, and then you can go from there into the parks. So if you are staying on board and you do want to stay in Richards Bay, I'm going to tell you straight, there's not much to do there. There's the Isimangaliso Wetland Park, and that's it.
And we don't have any cabotage laws.
No, there's no cabotage laws to help yourself.
Over to you, I'm not content.
Go wherever you like. We allow you everywhere. It is, yeah. But if you want to stay on the ship, you know, it's nice for a day. There's a mall, and restaurants, and the beach. Yeah, that's Richards Bay. So get off and leave. Then, if you are staying on board, and so to me, go to Kruger Park, and I'll tell you when to rejoin the ship. But if you are staying on board, you can also go to Durban and Durban surrounds. Now, Durban is a big, bustling city. It's a really, really interesting place. Durban is, there's a lot to do in Durbs. The problem with Durban is that it does have a high crime rate, particularly around the waterfront area, the beachfront area. I've already explained the economics to you. You can just imagine a tourist walking around with a big camera and rings and stuff. You know, when you trying to feed your family and it's what you're earning an hour and a half worth of work, or you can just grab a ring and feed them for a week, it's understandable that pickpocketing and things like that is quite rife. So do understand that. But the big highlight for Durban is Ushaka Marine World, which is a huge aquarium park that you can go to. There's also further afield, I'm going to show you some pictures, a place called the Valley of 1,000 Hills, which is absolutely stunning, which would be more of a full day into an overnight trip, depending on our itinerary, and bless you. And another thing to do in Durban is the Zulu cultural experience. So if any of you have ever heard of Shaka Zulu, this is the territory for Zulu tribes, which is super, super cool. So there is Durban. As you can see, the beach is not at all busy. That's what the beach looks like. If you want to go surfing, the water is lovely and shark infested. As this surfer found out, it made news. We've had a couple of people doing surfing and then they got attacked by sharks. So please, if you do go into the water in Durban, do us a favor and just stay within the flags. But surfing is a big thing, and there's a lot of surfers in Durban. There's also a lot of bars that used to sell beer by the wheelbarrow on the waterfront. I'm not even joking. They will bring you a wheelbarrow of beer and you can sit there for the whole day. It's fabulous. Really nice spot. So they'll put shark nets and then we pray. Yeah, and the water is really nice. And as a kid, I'll show you where I was born. I'm used to really cold water, especially in Cape Town. Again, penguins, we'll get to that. But the water's normally pretty cold where I come from. And I remember going to the Caribbean the first time, and I got in the ocean. I was like, it's weird. Like, it was warmer than my shower this morning. It was really nice. But we do have actual waves, unlike the Caribbean, where it just goes. We have, and in Cape Town a lot, so you'll see some. But surfing, big deal around Durban. Also, as I said, Durban is on that route. It's got a tropical climate. We do have a lot of Indian people who live in Durban, so you're going to get a lot of really good Indian food, like proper Indian food, good food, really yummy. And then you can also go and visit like the Zulu cultural stuff, which is super interesting, and it's such a odd combination of things to look for, but it's a wonderful place to go out and visit. And then just a very quick picture, that's what the Valley of 1,000 Hills look like. It is literally a beautiful valley. There's a horseshoe thing that comes around. South Africa, nature is absolutely stunning, right? Without a shadow of a doubt. If you're going to visit South Africa, there are so many beautiful places. You're going to have to Google it. We won't have enough time today, but I just wanted to let you know. Then we get to East London, and you can skip that one too, because there's a boardwalk, and that's where they found the coelacanth, which is supposed to be an extinct fish. Woo, coelacanth! But yeah, we have to, and then you can go fishing. And then there's a town. And it's got a restaurant and a couple of bars and a shopping mall with the same shops that we have in all the other shopping malls, because that's how we roll in South Africa. But you can go to Kanubi Beach or go fishing. East London, not much. Port Elizabeth. I was born in Port Elizabeth. This is my hometown, or Kabeka, if you want to call it that. And this is where I would say join the ship again. So spend your time in Kruger, however many days this may be. I would fly in back to Port Elizabeth. Port Elizabeth is a very sweet, very sleepy little town. There's not a hell of a lot of things going on, but there are really nice things slightly further out. But I will show you a few little pictures. That is the Donkin Memorial. What it memorializes, other than somebody named Donkin, I don't know. Then you've got the casino at the bottom, which is a really nice place to lose all your money. And then the Red Windmill, and I had to put that in because that's just for my personal love. When I was a kid, this used to be one of those places where you can drive your car and then they serve you your food at the car window. And we used to go for ice creams that were dipped in the chocolate sauce and then go walk on the beach. It's now a dive shop, but the Red Windmill that's like the highlight of PE as far as I'm concerned. Or there's a shopping mall, but it's poor. But you can go to Addo Elephant Park, which is outside of Port Elizabeth, if you didn't get the opportunity to see elephants and you want to go and see it. This is fabulous. Like, Addo Park is wonderful. Addo Elephant Park. Definitely make that part of your trip. But if you are flying back in again, I can tell you the distance from airport to port terminal is like 20 minutes drive. So it's really not far. And the reason why I think you should come and join us again in Port Elizabeth is so that you get the opportunity to do this little stretch of coast, which means that you will sail from here, Port Elizabeth, which is over there, and you're going to sail all the way down past the southernmost tip of Africa, which is here, which you can't really see because of my shadow, right over here, and then you'll come back up and into Cape Town. And I think that would be something quite spectacular to say that you've sailed around the southern tip of Africa. Also, the coastline there is incredibly beautiful. If you want to even drive it from Port Elizabeth back to Cape Town, it's about an 8-hour drive. We call it the coastal route. You drive on the N2. It's the national road number 2. It runs on the coast. The national road N1 runs from Cape Town to Joburg, pretty much straight. The N2 runs from Cape Town to Durban. So you just stay on the one road and you do the coastal route. It is stunning, but I can just imagine it's going to be even better from the ship, because we don't go all that far out. And to go around the southern tip of Africa would be phenomenal. And I will tell you, if you just want to take a day trip once you're in Cape Town to go and stand at the southern tip of Africa, that is completely doable. It's a day trip. It's not a big deal. My mom and I do it on a weekend occasionally, and then we go and buy pies. There's a place, never mind. That's just me. And that's what there's not a lot there. There's literally a plaque that says, "Ta-da! You're on the southern tip of Africa," and everybody stands there like this, going, "I thought it would be bigger," and it's not. It's literally that. But it's nice. It shows you the Indian Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. A lot of people think the oceans are just off the Cape Town. They are not. The two oceans meet at that point, but the currents do a little thing on the other side. And then that's Cape Point. So you would come around that, and then you will end up docking in Cape Town, which is my home city. This is where I'm from. I'm from, like, here. I'm miles away. Not that far, actually. To drive for us into Cape Town. Where are you? Oh, you're on the other side. Are you in Simonstown?
That's our view from the other side.
Oh, the back end.
Suburbs.
She gets the back end of the mountain. I see the other mountains. So Cape Town. Sorry? Yes. We are having a big party. I don't know how we're going to fit you all into my house, because my house is smaller than this room, but we will see. But Cape Town, so you have Table Mountain over here, and then you've got what's called the Hottentots Holland Mountains, which kind of surround, and it cuts off. So Cape Town is almost, in a weird way, kind of triangular shape. We call it the Greater Cape Town area. So I'm including all the wine estates, which I'm going to get to shortly, all the wine areas and things like that. Basically, you're surrounded by mountains. So we have this Mediterranean climate, because as the clouds and things come in, they get caught in the mountains, which makes us really good for wine growing, and we get everything else. So hot summers and cold and wet winters. In the rest of the country, you'll get a cold and dry winter and just stinking hot summer with a 4 o'clock in the afternoon rain shower, like it is here, with the humidity and the blah. That's on the other side. Cape Town, lovely, very nice little place. And then just to show you, that, by the way, is called Table Mountain. If you call it Tabletop Mountain, I'm going to throw you overboard. And the great thing with Cape Town is that nothing is too far away. You can go surfing first thing in the morning, you can go shopping in the afternoon, or you can hike the mountain in the afternoon, and you can go clubbing at night, or you can go wine tasting in the morning and then just sleep it off, because there's a lot to choose from. Lie on the beach, you can do whatever you like. There's a lot of options, and I just wanted to give you a little view of some of the things in Cape Town. So at the top here, we've got some of the night venues. We've got Camps Bay. We've got the oldest building in South Africa, which is the Cape Town Castle, which was built by Jan van Riebeeck in 16 something. It still stands. 16, 15, whatever. Then we've got the Cape Malay Quarter, which over here, down at the bottom, which is all these colourful houses. So the Malay culture, again, the coloured people, this is like their cultural area, and it's awesome. They've got some of the best bakeries, my goodness, good food coming out on this side of the world. That is the inside of this shopping mall over here. It's it's the third largest shopping centre in in Africa and in the southern hemisphere. So if you are looking to do some shopping, and I mean, you're also looking for Gucci and Prada, you can get it there, or you can just go and buy some snacks. But that's miles away, because we're actually docking at the waterfront, which is the Victoria and Alfred waterfront, which is fantastic. It is a bit touristy in price. So me, as a person who lives there, I don't go there. But the standard shops are the standard prices, but then they've got all the upmarket touristy crap, and all the African stuff is overinflated, because you walk out of there, you walk 2 minutes down the road, you're going to get it for 10% of the price that you've just paid. So bear that in mind. Just wanted to brag a little bit. That's the view from my local beach. That's the beach that I go to, Melkbos. Yeah, it's not bad. It's okay. There is great paragliding, yes, and there's great surfing. And from the waterfront, you can also get into the hop-on, hop-off buses, which is a big plus, because renting a car in Cape Town is a great idea if you drive on the correct side of the road. But I will tell you, South Africans, we all drive like arseholes. It's pretty dangerous, and we do not follow the rules of the road. So if you want to rent a car, please do so at your own risk. We are lunatics. Yeah.
But Uber's also cheap.
But Uber is cheap, and Uber is a great option to get around. And also, there's a few recommendations if you guys want to do a tour to wine estates, which is slightly further out. I would suggest hiring a bus with a driver and get them to take you out and bring you back again. That is a top tip. But to get up to Table Mountain, the great thing is the hop on, hop off picks up and drops off at the waterfront, right where you guys are already. And you can get on that hop on, hop off bus. They have various routes. They are all fantastic. You can see a lot in the morning of Cape Town, and it can take you up to the mountain where if you pre-book your ticket, you jump the queue, you get in, and you get in the cable car and you go up Table Mountain. Now, if you are doing that, just my top tip is when you get in the cable car, the floor rotates. It spirals as it goes up the mountain. So whatever you do, my top tip is every tourist jumps to go and stand in the front of the cable car because they think they're going to see the city. But then the thing does this, and when you're halfway up the mountain, when the best view is, you can't see diddly squat, you're just looking at rocks. And then you turn around again. So for me, the best place to do is go and stand face the mountain, because on the rotation, you're going to be 90% of the way up the mountain. You're going to have the best view, and you're going to be able to see a dock right at the top, which is kind of cool to watch. So there you go. And by the way, that's where Princess used to dock. It's the same spot. It's right outside the hotel on the V&A waterfront. Beautiful, beautiful places. And then we get to wine. Wine. So we like wine so much, we don't call our vineyards vineyards. They are wine farms. We don't grow grapes, we grow wine. That's all we do. Nobody eats grapes in Africa. I mean, you can find them, but people look at you a bit weird, like, what are they doing here? Why aren't they in a bottle? This is how we operate. So we do meat and wine and beer, but wine. And there's a lot of wine. So I didn't want to get all weird about giving you names of places, because there are literally hundreds and hundreds of wine estates, wine farms everywhere. Like, they are everywhere. Within, I don't know, it's just in Durbanville where I grew up, there's like 15 wine estates on one road. It's insane, and they all taste different. So if you are a wine person, this is going to be a great trip. And if you're a foodie, South Africa, you're going to absolutely love it, because we eat a lot. I'm considered petite. Just saying. Right, wine. There we go. Cape Town, again, if you want to see great white sharks breaching, there's a place not far away from Celia's neck of the wood. It's called Seal Island. It's in what we call False Bay, because it used to give people false hope. It's a very treacherous stretch of water coming around Cape of Good Hope and into Cape Town itself. It's also known as the Cape of Storms back in the old days. So there's a rock that juts out, and because our water is so cold, we have a lot of seals, we have a lot of penguins, which means it's basically a McDonald's drive-through for great white sharks. So they've developed to a point where they don't attack from underneath anymore. They just jump straight out of the water, and it's incredible to see. Happy surfing. That'll happen there. Penguins on the beach, Boulders Beach, also down the road from where Celia is. You can go and see the penguins. Unfortunately, they have started charging now to get entrance into Boulders Beach, which I think is complete BS, you know. But you can see penguins, and if you're really lucky, in Simonstown, which is where Boulders Beach is, it's where the old the old Navy town. They have little signs on the road for penguin crossings, because you've got to be careful, because they do come into the town itself and waddle about the place. They're rather stinky. And then, of course, you can do paragliding, surfing, windsurfing. The whole outdoors lifestyle is hand in hand with South African culture. There's a lot of outdoorsy things to do. Right.
Boulders is the only beach you have to pay for. Everything
Yeah.
else is, they're all
Boulders you have to pay for because it's got penguins on it. Everywhere else, help yourself, go for free. All right. Now I'm going to show you a little section here. This is called Local is Lekker. So lekker means good or a sweet in Afrikaans. So the local, there's a saying in South Africa, we always say, yeah. So local is lekker, it means local is a good thing. So we're talking about things that are now local and that you will find all over South Africa. A couple of the shops that you might be interested in. We've got Woolworths, we've got Pick n Pay, Spar and Checkers. These are our main ones in South Africa. This is for grocery shopping. So when you are looking in the waterfront, for example, you want to stock up on some food and some snacks and things like that, these are the shops you're going to be looking for. Woolworths is going to be slightly more high-end. Spar is on the lower end. Pick and Paycheck is 50-50 wherever you go. Food-wise, these are restaurants that we grew up with as South Africans. Ocean Basket is a fantastic seafood restaurant, and it's very economically priced. It's a place that South Africans eat. It's not so overpriced that we wouldn't go there. The Spur is a South African institution. You have not lived until you were 5 years old and had a Chico the Clown ice cream cone with some Smarties on it at the Spur, or a Spur burger. I'm going to strongly suggest that you try and get to the Spur. Steers, it used to be our McDonald's when I was a kid, because they used to open until 4 o'clock in the morning. We only got McDonald's, I think, in 1997 when I was in high school, was when we got them, and everybody was so excited, and we had one. We're like, no, we prefer a Steers burger. So we still do. Nando's is a South African food chain. It's a takeaway restaurant. I was appalled to see it as a sit-down restaurant in the UK. Couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. Turns out Britain has stolen our chicken wings. They are Portuguese chicken, and it is a sit-down restaurant. My brother said he went to Nando's, and it was so weird because he had to sit and get waited on at Nando's. It's like, what the hell's that? It's in Australia now too, but it's South African. Sit down as well. Stupid. It should be a takeaway. It should be awful. Fabulous food. A couple of things that you have too. Kauai is a really nice healthy smoothie place. Mug and Bean is where everybody goes for coffee. It's ridiculously overpriced, but the cake is like this big. So if you want like a meal, but you don't feel like anything other than a muffin, go to Mug Bean because they are enormous. Cattle Baron, I used to run one. It's one of the nicer food places. If you're looking for meat, South Africans, we're always looking for meat. You can buy your 30-day aged meat there. You can go to the butcher on the block and say, I'd like that please, and I want a piece this big. And they will cut it, weigh it, and cook it for you however you like it. You can also try like alligator, carpaccio, and all kinds of crap. I used to run one of those. And then the Wimpy, because Wimpy is a burger place. It's awful, but I don't know why South Africans go to Wimpy, and it's cheap and it's tacky, but when you are hungover, the greasiest breakfast, Wimpy. There's always one near a wine estate. Marcel's is an ice cream shop, and Panarotti's is my favorite pizza. If you're looking for pizza in South Africa, I recommend Panarotti's. Food-wise, what are you going to eat? So this here is called bunny chow. So basically, this is like an Indian curry, lamb curry, which we'll take a loaf of bread, we hollow it out, shove the lamb curry in there, put the piece of bread on top of it, and then laugh at people while you try and eat this thing as it falls apart in front of you, and you just slobber it all over, and things go dripping, and it's delicious. We also have what we call bobotie, which is a meatloaf with curry spices and things. A lot of Malay culture coming through here. And then that little weird-looking sausage, that is called boerewors. It is, and that is poppenwors. So boerewors is the South African sausage. We would rather have a boerewors roll than a hot dog. You will find boerewors rolls everywhere. It's a beef sausage. We put an onion, tomato, smoor sauce mix. We call it a mush mix. Smothering mix. You put that on top, and it is divine. So good. You have to try boerewors rolls. Another thing you have to do when you're in South Africa is you have to go to a bride. It is not a barbecue. The concept is the same, but it's different. It's better. It's meatier. It takes longer, and you'll be absolutely hammered by the time you're there, because what we like to do, we start a fire. We're inviting you over for a bride. We're going to bride for lunch, right? So come at 11. We'll start the fire at 11. We'll cook at about 6. And we will drink the wine and the beer before that. That is how South Africans operate. And when you eat, you will be fed everything. Because we don't just braai one meat, because why are we lighting a fire if we can't cook everything? So we'll do everything on a braai. And even sandwiches, we'll make toasted sandwiches. We do these little things called societies, which is our kebabs. We'll have like a chicken society, boerewors, lamb chops, probably a steak, something else, maybe some ribs if you're lucky, some pork crackling, chicken pieces, and that'll just be the start. We'll get a massive piece of garlic bread, like enough to feed the world, potato salad like this, and then a little green salad for 25 people, and there'll be leftovers of the green salad, always, but nothing of everything else. That is how we operate. It is to be expected. Another thing we like to do is we cook a potjie, which is a stew on the fire. So once again, we will light the fire, and then we make this big stew in a 3-legged pot, cast iron pot. It's a potjie. Very, very nice, delicious to do. Another thing you have to try when you're in South Africa is biltong. It is not jerky. What we do here is we'll take strips of raw beef, we soak it in a little bit of vinegar, a lot of coriander, different kinds of spices, and we hang it up to air dry. It is not cooked at all. It's just air dried, and you end up with this like leathery piece of meat, and it is delicious. And if you have children who are particularly annoying, you take a piece, you shove it in there, and they just have gob, and that's how you keep them quiet in the car while you drive from Cape Town to Johannesburg. That takes 18 hours, because that's how long it takes you to get through a piece of meat. Fabulous. We also do a thing called rooibos tea, which I found in Japan, which was hilarious. If you'd like to try some, I have 1 or 2 tea bags left in my office. Feel free to come and let me know. All right, beer. We got a lot of beers. These are South African beers for our beer drinkers. I don't drink beer. I'm not a fan of it, so have at it if you like. But those are the local beers that you will find, and these are our local ciders. We obviously have a wide variety of beverages, up to you.
And lots of craft beers.
Lots of craft beers, lots of individual things. And then liqueurs that are particular to South Africa. You'll get everything else, like if you want a Johnny Walker or a Jack Daniels or something, you'll find all of that. But Amarula cream is made from the berries of the marula fruit. It's very nice. The whole theory about elephants getting drunk is nonsense, because they don't eat enough of that. Witblitz means white lightning, and sometimes we will sell it something similar. It's called mampoer. We will sell it with a what's it called, barbed wire around it. It's like 90%, and it'll kill you. We're not particularly scared of it, but these are it's part of our culture. It's what we do. More foodie things that you've got to understand is desserts. South Africa, we have sweet tooth, whatever you want to call it. We've got sweet teeth, absolutely. Some of my favorites. We've got peppermint crisp dessert, Cook Sisters, which you will get in Cape Town, and Mulva pudding over there. And just because I haven't finished, my other favorite is milk tart, which is a milk tart, which is absolutely delicious, like a custard dessert. A trifle is our traditional Christmas pudding, really, because it's hot and we barbecue, so we do a trifle. And then there's also a tipsy tart or a brandy tart we do. Snacks to buy. Omar's biscuits, these are rusks. So these are like biscottis. They are baked to a brick, and you dunk them in coffee or tea, and then you eat them as quickly as you can before they disintegrate. And then some of my favorite chocolates are there just for you to see. Now we're going to talk a little bit about colloquialism, some weird things that us South Africans say. So the first thing, as you can see, I've got Barbie up there. If we are hungover, it's called having a babalas. A babalas. Try and say that. Babalas. That's a hangover. When something is too cute and it's absolutely adorable and you go, oh my god, it's so cute, like you want to eat it, we all go, oh shame. I don't know why we say it, but we'll say things like, oh shame, piece man. She's so cute, shame. Something's cute, oh shame. You hurt yourself, shame. Sarcastic, shame. I don't know why, but something's cute, we use shame. To say hello, we say how's it. We don't necessarily always say hello. The South Africans will walk around going, how's it, how's it, how's it, how's it. And the other thing that we like to say is in Afrikaans, to say thank you very much, we say buy a donkey, which is spelled D-A-N-K-I-E, but it sounds like purchase an ass. So buy a donkey. If you remember, it's not a donkey though, it's a donkey. But buy a donkey, like the German danke, dankeschön, or vielen Dank, is thank you very much in Afrikaans. So buy a donkey and just donkey is thanks. A couple of other things, we like to judge time in distance. So if it's, time, we do weird things, it's distance in tone. Time we do now means later, just now means later, later means later, They're different, and I can't really tell you how they're different, but you will hear her saying, I'll speak to you just now means a little bit later, or I'll speak to you now means soon, but later, just not now. And if you say it happened just now, I'm going to say later, or if we go, it happened just now, it happened like now. But when you say, it happened just now, and I'm thinking, are we doing something in the future? Because just now, and it's very confusing, but that's how we are. If you hurt yourself, we don't say ow, we'll say ena or bliksem. And another thing is when something's delicious, we'll say it's lekker, like I said earlier. Ish means it's like ish, or something happened, it's weird. You'll hear ish. And another fun thing that we do is we do distance in tone, which is very much a PE thing. So if I'm trying to tell you where to find something, or can you get me something, it's on the table, you'll say, where is it? I'll say it's over there, means it's nearby. If I say it's over there, it's on the far table. So when we're looking at something in the distance and you're in the Kruger Park and I'll say, I see a lion, where is it? I'm going to say it's over there. And then you know it's way away, it's way back, don't look forward, look over there. And just also a caveat, when you get to South Africa, it is called a zebra. Please, not a zebra. Zebra. It's ours. Zebra. Say it right. All right. Last little bit, we're going to play a game called You Say, We Say. So I'm going to show you an image, and I want you to shout out what you would call it, and then I'll tell you what we call it. So, first one is traffic light, right? We call it a robot. I don't know why, but it's a robot. Like, it's a robot. Everybody will tell you, turn left at the robot. Please don't look for a robot. We mean traffic lights. All right, standard robot. Here's another one. Collectively, those are called sodas, pops, what call them, cool drinks. Everything is a cool drink. Whether it's an orange juice, it's a juice is a juice. A water is a water, and anything with bubbles in it is a cool drink. So I'd like a cool drink. I have Coke or Sprite. I like a Sprite. So we won't just call it by, well, yeah, you'll get used to it. We're weird. That, like I said earlier, is not a barbecue. That is a braai. All right. Try this one. Can you see? French fries, right? Those are chips. But then what do you call these?
Crisp.
Also chips. So you get your crisps. If you're British or you have British ancestry, you might call it crisps. But they are chips and chips. And then if you get these ones, we don't do the skinny ones. Like you guys have French fries, skinny fries. We only do thick, chunky ones because we're South African and we like to reflect our figures. So thick, chunky ones, which we will cover in white wine vinegar and salt, and we call them slop chips. And the reason why they slop, because slop means sloppy. And when you've covered them within as much oil and vinegar as we do, the chip just goes and gives up its will to live. So those are slop chips. So you'll have slop chips and fish. So chips and chips. Right. Hush you. Zebra crossing. Good. Not zebra. Zebra crossing, yeah? Eggplant. Aubergine. Brinjal. Brinjal. It's Indian. Just saying. We use Indian term. It's called a brinjal in South Africa. How about that one?
Zucchini.
That's a zucchini. Baby marrow. It's a baby marrow. Little marrow. All right. That one?
Cantaloupe.
Cantaloupe. Sponsbeck. Where we got that from, I do not know. I told you guys earlier, I spent my lifetime dreaming of trying cantaloupe, thinking it sounded so exotic. I'd always read it in my American books. I was like, pirates going through the Caribbean eating cantaloupe. I was like, oh, that sounds delicious. Got to a summer camp in North Carolina, asked them to pass me what I thought was called sponsbeck. They told me, no, it's cantaloupe, and I was gutted. I've been eating it my entire life, and I hate it.
What are they called?
It's called a millie. And in South Africa, we will call it a millie all the time. All right, that one. Oh, where did it go?
Band-Aid.
Oh, Band-Aid. No, it's a plaster. So you too can also be plastered, or you can have something on your cut. It's a plaster too. All right, that kind of car, what do you call it?
Truck.
A truck, a ute, whatever. We call it a bakkie, because a bakkie in Afrikaans is a container. So it's got a plastic container. We call it a bakkie. Can you get me the bakkie out of the cupboard? Means a little container. So because it's got a container on the back, we call it a bakkie. Almost there. That herb?
Coriander.
You guys call it cilantro. We call it coriander. Right? Those kind of shoes? Sneakers, right? We call them tackies. Tekkies. Why? Not a clue. Doesn't make any sense at all. And then a collective. Candies, lollies, we call them sweets. They're all sweeties. All of them are sweets. Here's some more. These. Good. So these are flip-flops. We also call them slops. If you go to Australia, they call them thongs. And pluckies. If in Australia they call them thongs, it confused the crap out of me because the thong goes between another, not my toe crack, you know what I'm saying? So and jandals all over the world. So we also call them pluckies, but that's very Afrikaans. What do you put on a baby?
Diaper.
Diaper. We call it a nappy. It's a nappy. All right. What is that? Tomato sauce. Good. What is this? Also tomato sauce. So when you go and you ask, when you want ketchup in the restaurant, you ask them for tomato sauce. And they'll bring you a different brand. It's called Koo or All Gold. All Gold's the best. So ask, you can get a Heinz, but it's ridiculously overpriced. All right, on a car, that is called the
Hood.
The hood, we call it the bonnet. You call that the trunk, we call it the boot. Where's the next one? Glove compartment, we call it a cubby hole. I don't know why, which is weird. Somebody who's homeless, nickname for a homeless person?
George.
We call them a bergie, which means a mountain person. I don't know why either, but if you hear them referring, there's a bergie on the corner, be careful, hold on to your stuff. All right, that thing on the top, we call it a till. Go to the till and pay out. So you will hear people saying that to you. Go to the till. That there,
Gas station.
it's a petrol pump because we use petrol. And also do bear in mind, if you are renting a car and traveling around, you don't pump your gas in South Africa. We are going to think you are stealing it. Do not get out of the car. Somebody comes to the car and pumps the gas for you and also checks your air tires, oil, everything else, does the full little check. You pay them, they'll bring you the little thingy, the till to your car, you pay them there, and then you drive away. So please don't go into the station because we think you've gone to steal something. So we have attendants for that. All right, next one. Jumper, right? We call it a jersey. It's a jersey in South Africa. And that one?
Bathing suit.
Bathing suit. We call it a swimming costume.
Costume.
A costume. Everything's a costume. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my little trip to Africa. By a donkey. Do we have any? We're careful. How did I do for time? A little bit short.
Great.
Oh well.
Great.
Here we are. Any questions, anybody? Yes. About Afrikaans, the language. Okay. So she wants me to say something about. Do we have time or not?
No, we don't.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there's my microphone.
I'll come talk to you after.
Yeah, she's got this cool book, and she's always around doing nothing. So
Thanks, kid.
she was going to talk about lions and tigers and bears, but she got excited with it.
Because we don't have tigers or bears in Africa, kid.
I still think it'd be a fun talk. Lauren's giving you a bit of a flavor of what you're going to get in South Africa when we get there, right?
Yeah.